All right, hi everybody, this is Shooterready.standby. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here on the channel, this is a show and tell gun video channel where I'm going to show you a pistol and we'll talk about some of the things I like about the pistol, maybe some things I don't like about the pistol, and how I like to use it. So this is my Glock 34 Gen 5 9mm. This is the long slide Glock. Competition style Glock. They have a longer one with the 17L, of course. But we'll just kind of start from the top with some things I've done with this. This is set up specifically for competition, mostly IDPA, some USPSA, not as much, mostly IDPA. So we'll just kind of start at the top and work our way down with some things that I have done to this pistol. So I did put some fiber optic sights on there. I really like these. They're blacked out, serrated in the rear. And then, I don't know if we can get to focus on the front. It's a red fiber optic front with a fiber optic a little bit closer to the top. That front post is pretty thin. I really enjoy those. Gives you a great sight picture. I'm an iron sight kind of guy. I have red dots, but I'm just more comfortable with iron sights. So I really like these. These are Robert Vogel sights. They have the ability to tighten them down there at the top so they won't shift around. This is my favorite target shooting set of sights. I really enjoy these. I guess we're supposed to show clear. So there's nothing in the chamber. There's no magazine. You can see it's a clear gun. As far as the slide, it is a little bit longer than a 17. A 17 ends where this dust cover ends. You can just see it extends a little bit. There's a hole in the bottom there. I like the 34. I looked at the Gen 5 17L. I'm not a huge fan of this little extension being polymer. I like that it's metal. On the 34 is a little bit better. So 34 is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Glock pistol. Something else I've done with this, I put a Streamlight TRL1 HL light on there. It does help with putting a little bit of weight out front for competition. Helps you manage recoil just a tiny little bit, not a whole lot, to be honest with you. I can barely tell a difference with this thing on here, if at all. One reason I put it on there is it is the light that I use for self-defense. I will carry that light sometimes. I definitely use it for home defense. So it's very practical in that aspect. I usually shoot one night match a year as well, so it comes in handy. It's an awesome light at those night matches. Some people have some cheaper lights, and I've seen them fall off the gun or try to do the handheld thing. I would just rather have something mounted to my pistol there. That's a great one. Maybe the Surefire X300s are a little bit better. I don't know. I've never had one. I kind of doubt they're worth double the price, which is essentially what they are. From the Streamlight, so I stick with those Streamlights. I've had good luck with those. The 34 comes with an extended slide stop. It's ambi on the Gen 5, so that's really nice. I have short thumbs, small hands, so that really comes in handy. I've also put the Tango Down, Vickers Elite, whatever it's called, extended magazine release. It's not hugely extended, but it sticks out a little bit more closer to your hand, so I really enjoy that. It helps me without moving my grip as much to get to that mag release there. You'll probably also notice the trigger here. What I've done with that is I put a Glock Performance trigger in and then changed out the trigger shoe, changed out the trigger shoe for a Johnny Glock trigger shoe there. It's okay. The thing I really like about it is the trigger shoe sits a little bit further back than your normal curved stock Glock trigger, and it sits way further back than the Glock Performance trigger. So I like that it is a shorter trigger reach. The only negative thing I'll say about this is sometimes that little safety will get caught up on the frame. I've never had it do it in live fire, but it does it a lot in dry fire. So I don't know that it's that big of a deal since it doesn't seem to happen in live fire. Maybe it will eventually. But that would be the only negative I would say. Everybody shows triggers on YouTube, and I never really understood it, but I guess I'll do that. You can see the take up is not very much on this. Just a little bit of take up, and then you've got a really nice break. And the reset, I'll show you guys that. It's pretty nice. I held out on doing anything to triggers for years. I probably shot stock Glock triggers at least 5 years, maybe closer to 6, before I ever touched one. And the Glock Performance trigger was kind of what made me go ahead and go through with that, because it was an OEM part, and I don't know, I was just at that point competing that I felt like I might benefit from something like that. So I really like it. I am a little bit more accurate with it. I am a little bit quicker with it. So if you're kind of on the fence, I say go ahead with the with upgrading the trigger, especially with that Glock Performance trigger. That's the only one I've got experience with, but it's been really solid for $100 or less. It's hard to beat. Something else I've done with this pistol is I put a flared mag well on there. The Gen 5s already have a flared mag well. This is Glock OEM. It's okay. I wouldn't say I absolutely love it. I do think it does its job, and it, it gives you a little bit wider of a base to get that magazine in there if you're trying to do attack reload or emergency reload or whatever, just trying to reload quickly. The only thing I don't like about it, and I think you guys can see it, up here in the front, it's just not as flush as it needs to be. So you've kind of got this little ridge of the flare that's on the actual frame that sticks out a little bit from this magwell attachment. Again, in live fire, when I'm actually reloading at a match or something, I've never had it get hung up, but I have in dry fire. So I know it can happen. It just hasn't happened yet. I will probably eventually replace this for a Dawson Precision flared magwell somewhere down the road. They're quite a bit more expensive, though. I think they're around 80, 90 bucks. I haven't looked in a couple months, really. But this thing was $20, $25. It wasn't very much. So for the price, it's hard to beat. If it's your first magwell, like it was mine, it's probably a good way to go. And I'll probably throw it on another full-size Glock when I get a Dawson Precision one. But for right now, it's definitely doing the job. As far as philosophy of use, this is a competition pistol to me. I have used it for home defense in the past, but I've never carried it. I thought it was a little bit bigger than I could get away with carrying anyway. But I have used it for home defense, but now it's dedicated to competition. And how I like to use that in competition is in conjunction with this CompTac holster. This is an awesome holster. I held out for a long time on getting a competition holster. I used a Raven concealment holster for a long time in competition, which worked well, but this thing is just like night and day compared to anything else. It's got this nice cutout so you can get it out a little bit more quickly. The light kind of negates that some, but still, I do enjoy that cutout there. It's very secure on your belt with this. I use a Ritchie's leather gun belt. I don't have a really dedicated competition belt yet, but this is an awesome holster. Comes out super fast. You can adjust the retention, of course. I love this CompTac holster. I think it's the best for competition. That's the only thing I use it for, though. It sticks out quite a bit from your body. I doubt I would ever carry this thing. Wouldn't totally be against it, but great holster. And then for my magazines, I have a CompTac magazine holder. I forget what they call this one, but it's just three magazine pouches all in one there. I really like that it has this flared opening there. That really helps if you're doing tack reloads. If you're moving during a stage, you're behind a wall, you might as well do a tack reload most of the time. So this really helps with quick tack reloads, so you're not fumbling around. You got 3, you're all set and ready to go with that. But guys, that is my Glock 34. It's a great shooting pistol. If you've never shot one, I would encourage you to rent one, borrow buddies, try one somehow. Probably the best shooting Glock pistol that I own. The Glock 34 Gen 5.